Before we get to the pitches, we thought it would be fun to start off with some musings about entrepreneurship and leadership with Sean and also with Jim Murray. And I'm pleased to introduce you to Jim. Jim is the founder of the Presidential Precinct, and he's currently a general partner at Court Square Ventures. Jim has been investing in early stage companies for over 30 years, and he's been a principal in firms specializing in investment banking and venture capital for the telecom and IT businesses since 1982. He's the author of Wireless Nation, the frenzied launch of the cellular revolution in America, and Jim currently serves on the University of Virginia Board of Visitors as chair of the Finance Committee. So Sean and Jim, I'd love to invite you up. We'll have a brief chat, and then we'll get on with the pitches.
Thank you, Nancy. I guess we can just take these chairs. We don't really have a fire, so you have to do the best we can.
Nancy, you're going to have to blow a whistle and the
two
of us will talk forever.
I actually presume that this is an opportunity for our fellows to actually get their thoughts together. So we'll just sit here and talk while so Jim, give me a sense. I so admired the Presidential Precinct, since its inception. But help us, maybe for this audience, draw the connection between what you saw as the vision for Presidential Precinct and a program such as this, bringing young people from around the world to come here to engage in certain activities. Reflect on that.
Well, first of all, the Presidential Precinct is a great example of entrepreneurship. There was no such thing. Nobody had ever thought of it. So it was a good idea. It was an idea. As we iterated around the idea and talked to a few people, it became clearer that it probably was a good idea. And so then it was just a question of implementing. You just say, okay, it's a good idea, let's do it. And we had no money, no outside support, just let's go talk to each of these institutions and say, how would you like to partner with these other institutions? And we created something out of nothing. What we created went from an idea to something of value when we recruited really good people. So the key was to find like-minded, entrepreneurial, risk-taking people inside each of the institutions and encourage them to get involved. So when we had the idea for the precinct, we didn't have a name. Literally, we said, we're going to do this, we're going to have this joint venture. And one of the more entrepreneurial folks at Morven, Stuart Gamage, you may have met Stuart. Stuart made a connection to the State Department. The State Department says we have these IVLP programs like you're in. We'd like to talk to you about maybe hosting one or two of them. So Stuart said, come see us. They said, we'll come. We're going to come, and we're going to bring 5 people. So we then told our other partners, the State Department is coming next Wednesday. And on Tuesday, I got a hectic call from the CEO of Monticello saying, the State Department's arriving tomorrow, and who are we? We don't have a name. And I said, well, that doesn't matter. We don't need a name. We're just going to meet with them, and we're going to do this. She said, well, let me work on that. And she had a creative young person doing media and design for them. And in 8 hours, overnight, that person came up with the Presidential Precinct name.
Wow.
Yeah. Power, place, power of ideas, the tagline, and designed the logo. They put it on the printer that morning. The State Department arrived several hours later, and the design person, that was his last day at work. He moved to Europe. So that's how great entrepreneurship works. You have an idea, you take a risk, go out and make it happen. And so the precinct, I think, I would like to think that those of you who come here to talk about these things could learn from the example of how we did what you're participating.
It's amazing what you can do with an idea. a logo, a tagline, and a website, you're done. Fill in the rest later.
Well, I mean, I would say, and I know you're saying that facetiously,
Yeah.
but exactly the opposite is true. So the precinct would be nothing without Neil, Nancy, Catherine, Drew. You know, you've met these people now, and each one of them kind of one at a time. We've recruited, you know, great talent, and you know, that's kind of lesson number 2. Delegate. You know, find good people and delegate. I assure you, I have wanted to meet you all since the day you arrived in the United States, and I have been traveling all over the place with both business of my own and UVA business, and this is my first opportunity. I feel really remiss, and I'm going to have to leave to go to some other UVA stuff before you're finished today. But I'm comfortable doing that. I'm comfortable because I know that I've got people that are smarter than I am and better organized than I am who are doing these things. So knowing that it's in Nancy's hands, both you and I should be happy.
Let's actually, we don't have a lot of time, but I'll try to focus this following question. So, this is an extraordinary opportunity that I presume that all these people have to come to this country, spend some time. In this case, it's Charlottesville. In every case, as Nancy told me, embedded, with some local businesses, small businesses, a variety of kinds, nonprofits, and others. At the high level, I mean, they can tell you what they learned, but at the high level, what do you think is the value of that kind of engagement and partnership? How does that play out in your mind, and what do you hope, or what would you hope that provides to all involved?
Well, the original idea behind the precinct was, I think, almost too egocentric. We thought, well, here we are at the cradle of American democracy, where 3 of the 5 founding fathers worked together to create the American Republic, the kind of the best and longest lived example of representative government we have in the world. So we have something to teach. It was kind of the original thought. And I knew better, but over time it's become increasingly apparent, and I hope we continue to make it apparent, that we have a lot to learn. That there is no right model of government, there is no right model of doing business. And that particularly Americans have a very limited view of the world. Most Americans don't have passports. They never leave the country. And yet there are all these tremendous countries around the world, innovative, creative, exciting places with great people. And by opening up the precinct, not only do we have an opportunity to perhaps expose people from around the world to new thoughts about how they might organize their governments or organize their businesses, but we too can learn here. So our institutions, the Batten Institute, the Darden School, the University of Virginia, William and Mary, all these places are better places to have faces, people, ideas from around the world come visit us.
I can only second that by saying we are enriched by having you here, and I'm so pleased that you are. But before we let you get to your moment in the spotlight, you've already said a lot of interesting things. Any last pearl of wisdom you'd like to offer? I'm sure you hate that question, we all do, but I'm sure they'd love to hear it.
No, I mean, I would close with a request, and that is, we think the precinct is doing an okay job, but before you leave here, tell us what we could do better. We'd really like to hear from you. What it is about this program that was good and what wasn't, and how, so that those who follow behind you, we can do a better job.